Man, I love all those people right there. And I love the Good Sam membership. It's been so great. I mean, we had people ask us, is it really worth getting? If you're going to be full-time RVers or even not, but you're going to do a lot of weekend warriors, it's totally, totally worth it. We love Good Sam.
You'll save on the resorts. And then also, we actually used it yesterday while we're here at this location, buying a bunch of outdoor gear and clothes that was 40% off with it. So
I'm not going to lie. It was mostly my stuff. But you know what? I birthed two kids. I deserve it. So it's fine. Anyway, guys, we wanted to – my mic went out earlier, so I wanted to talk about our treasures we're doing.
Yeah.
Guys, we are doing a nationwide – basically treasure hunt. We're hiding 10 treasures. We've already hidden 2 out of the 10, but we're going to keep hiding them all the way to the end of the tour.
One just went live today on our Instagram. So to see the clues of where that treasure's hidden, make sure to follow us at the Jurgys. That's Jurgys. And it's live. First one to find it gets it. And that one's good for $500 to spend at Camping World.
But we are giving one away for a free RV. So you got to be following along. We're not going to tell you which treasure is the RV, so you have to be following along.
Yeah, and the clues are just going to randomly go up on our Instagram. So whoever finds that one will get the free RV as well. So pretty exciting. And we got a giveaway right now that we wanted to do as well. As you're watching this live stream, if you guys want to be eligible for giveaways, just register, text URVS to 46642. And then you're eligible to win stuff as well. And so the giveaway that we're doing right now, this is for a 49cc scooter.
Woo!
These scooters are awesome.
They're so fun.
And you don't need a motorcycle endorsement for this one. So they're sweet. The winner is El Sayed Abu Zaid.
Dang.
So congrats. We're stoked for you and hope you enjoy it. And guys, make sure to register. We got more coming up right here with the Momtrotter interview.
I'm Sean Parr. I've got Tiffany Remington here with me. One of my favorite parts of everything we do for the Ultimate RV Show National Tour as we continue going coast to coast is a chance to talk to our partners out on the road that are out there full time. And we've got 2 amazing people with us. We like to call them influencers, of course, Karen and Sylvester of the Momtrotter, who do this full time. How are you guys, first of all?
Hey, we're doing good. We're good. Hi, guys.
Oh, man, this is so great to talk to you guys. First of all, let's get caught up because for those of us that follow you know, but there's a lot of people checking in for the very first time that want to know everything about what you do and who you are because you're constantly on the road. This is what you do.
Right.
Yeah, and I know that you're traveling right now from West Coast back to East Coast, and I do follow you, and I was just amazed how quickly you got from point A, and I think you're in Georgia now?
Yes, we just got here. We just got to Georgia last night, and it's beautiful. It's already raining over here.
I know. It's been a little wet. We've been traveling on the East Coast, too, and we've almost caught the rain every single time. But for me, at least it's better than snow right now. So
my 7-year-old will say otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
He wanted to stay in Colorado.
Oh.
Karen, you guys are from Colorado, and you do this full-time across the country. Give us the definition of driving your Class C and how much fun that is to get the kids, put them in the RV, and head across the country.
Well, we live in our RV full-time, and we've been doing this since last year, and it has been the best experience, it's the best decision we made for our family. We have a 7-year-old, he's almost 8, and he loves every minute of it. He just adapted so well to it. It's amazing. He meets friends everywhere. He's excited about visiting new states and checking them off his list. So it's really fun for all of us.
I love it. So what kind of got you guys into the idea of RVing in the first place a year ago, and how hard was that? How hard or easy was that the transition for you and your entire family?
I think it was an easy transition. Well, it was a little hard.
It wasn't that easy.
No, it was not for him. Because my husband wasn't ready. Like I told him, I was like, oh, we need to sell our home and buy an RV, and he was like, what? So initially, but then when we made the decision to right away, we literally sold and bought an RV within a week, and we're on the road. So it happened very quickly.
Wow. So now you have your work, you have your family, you have the schooling, you do it all across the country. And you know, seeing your pictures, seeing your family, seeing the smiles on the kids' faces when you're standing below a sign that says, we've conquered this state, we're going to the next state. That's what it's all about, right? Just like you were saying. And I love the fact that they have a list that they check off the states that you've been to.
Right. So we have a map that's on the outside, and then our 7-year-old also has a book, like, where he writes, places he's been and things like that. Like, he does a report on it when we go somewhere.
I love it. I'm actually jealous that you guys find all the signs, because I've been following you guys for a little bit now, and Caleb and I, while we're crossing the state lines, I'm literally looking around. I'm like, where does the Momtrotter find these signs? Because they're like little green signs that I pass, and I'm like, they have to know the secrets.
My husband is the one, he finds all those signs.
I do a lot of the route mapping. When she tells people going through the state, I'll map the route out and find the signs. You usually have to go through the Google Earth image, and you can find the signs just right there. Oh. And I just plan it in there.
That's so smart.
Karen, I want to pick up on something that you said a moment ago. You were sure that you wanted to sell the house and do this, but Sylvester, you weren't fully in. Obviously, you've been doing this for over a year now, full time. So you obviously are. But how has this brought you together closer as a family?
It's really brought us closer together as a family a whole lot. I mean, we do a lot of things together.
Everything.
And we do pretty much everything together.
We're together 24/7 in a tiny boxy every day. You can't get any closer to your family than this.
But it's good. It's good. I mean, the bond is stronger. We get to do a lot of things with Aiden too, which is the goal was more doing things as a family.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty much amazing.
I love that so much. Now, my question is, Caleb and we lived full-time in an RV for 2.5 years, now close to 3 years. And I started, maybe it's me turning 30, I don't know, but I started to need alone time a little bit. So I found myself hiding in the bathroom sometimes. That's really the only place that has another door. How do you guys kind of tackle the alone time, especially with having a family and kids all in a Class C?
Yeah.
So what I do sometimes is I drive, because our Class C tows our car. So sometimes if we have a long drive, I will literally unhook it so I can drive. So I can be just alone in a car and just have my thoughts only. Or sometimes, if I go somewhere with Aiden, then, my husband will be by himself for a little bit, or, I'll just leave for a little bit. But funny enough, we don't really need much alone time. We're really good together. We've gotten the hang of things, and it works out really good.
And also, when sometimes you go shopping, you go buy groceries and all that stuff. I have a lot of alone time then. Drive it around, just sit right there in the car. And sometimes I come back and just sit and just wait. So that kind of helps.
Yeah, because we all know. I mean, come on, we're creatures of habit, but we also need our alone time. We need to unplug a little bit and give everybody else their space too, because as kids, we know. I mean, they're doing their homeschooling. We're constantly on, and we want to make sure they get everything done. Sometimes they need to take a minute as well, which is awesome. And speaking of homeschooling, how has that been for you being out on the road?
Perfect. We've always homeschooled from day one, so this wasn't any different for us. And before the RV travel, we actually traveled internationally, on a monthly basis. So we've always traveled. So the only difference is, we're not home anymore. So our school, Aiden's schooling has always been on the road. He's used to it, so we do a lot of school. If we go to someplace, we'll do some research about the area. We'll visit some, monuments. It depends on what we're, looking up and researching. For the past, last year, we did a lot of Black history, which was amazing because we went through Alabama, Tennessee. We read all the books. We visited all the sites. So it's one thing to read it, but to actually see it in person, it's just been amazing. And Aiden loves it. For science, he was talking about the other day, he found a snake. He picked it up and he told us that the snake was venomous or something. Oh, it was not venomous.
No, it's not venomous.
And I had no idea. I was like, how did you know that? He's like, because the head is shaped this way. And he's explaining all this stuff. And I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, that's good that he studies that stuff. And, son, here's your new project. You're going to be doing snakes for the rest of your life. Make sure every state.
Oh, yeah, he knows. He's good at it. So he was teaching us about snakes. So
I love it.
It's amazing. Honestly, I remember being in school and obviously it's not homeschool, but always looking forward to field trips and being able to travel full time in an RV and doing homeschooling. It's a field trip every day, and it makes schooling so much more interesting. And also you're able to touch and play with things a lot more. And I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I'm all about that. I have huge envy. My inner child is literally crawling out, being like, I wish I was able to have that experience. So major props to you guys and for all of those out there that are homeschooling. I think it's absolutely the most incredible way to learn.
I agree with you.
Totally true.
Yeah, and what about friends for Aiden and being out on the road? I mean, that could sometimes be a little bit tough, but then with technology today, does that help you a lot?
Yeah, it does. And Aiden,
Okay.
Aiden makes friends. Like he is. Oh my God, you get to like an RV park or campsite, and he already has the best friend.
He's gone.
I'm like, you just met. Like, what do you? So he has no problem making friends and keeping friends. So he has an email address actually, which I recommend parents like just sign up your kids for an email. So he gets the, other friends' emails, and he loves sending emails. And it's actually good for him because he's learning too. Because he's learning to type, learning to email.
Yeah.
So he really keeps in contact with his friends, via email. And then everywhere we go, he always finds new friends. Always, like he's always meeting somebody new and always ready to go out and play. I think kids make friends so easily though. So for him, it's just like normal.
Here's a very interesting question for you. And immediately when I knew we were going to talk to you guys and I knew what kind of RV that you drove, I thought to myself, why a Class C when you decided to sell your house and get on the road? Did you look at other units? Was that the one that fit you?
Did we look at
we didn't actually look at any other units. It was what was affordable at the time.
At the time, that's true. Because we were ready to go. So I was like, we went online, we're looking and said, what's the cheapest that we can get now?
That would be debt free.
Right. That would, we wouldn't have a payment on. So that was what we found. And honestly, that's what we got.
Just like that, boom. And you have made the most of it because I'll tell you what, it's convenient. Tell us a little bit about driving it, what it's like. Was it everything that you thought it was going to be when you got in it?
Yep.
At first, when we got it, she did all the design. She told me what she wanted to do, what she needed, or what she pictured she wanted the inside to look like. So we did the whole renovation and made it look like home. So when we started driving, I mean, it's been pretty awesome. So we bought a car that we towed back of the RV. So, I mean, to go around.
Perfect.
I want to know a little bit more about the RV. How long is it? How many slide outs do you have? How roomy?
Well, we actually have one slide out. It's a 31-foot RV.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a Fleetwood Tioga.
Yeah.
And it has one slide, which was really what got Karen to love it. So it slides out, pulls up, opens up real big. So you have a big family space where you can sit with a dinette area. And then we also have like the lounge area, which is the sofa, and then a kitchen.
Yeah. And Karen, what about that kitchen? I mean, Sylvester, when you go in there when you go in there to do a little grilling, little cooking, or whatever, I mean, is there enough room? You felt like this was it, going from the house to the RV, and you know what? We're going to be doing this full time. I know the answer from Karen already because your face lights up when you talk about getting in that RV. Sylvester, for you though, getting into that kitchen, was it everything you expected? Is it okay for you?
It is, right? Yes, it is, because one of the things Karen wanted she wanted a big kitchen in the RV. Most RVs do have like little small counter space, and she wanted a huge counter space where she could move things around. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why she picked this RV.
I love it. Now, is a Class C something that you guys are going to keep traveling in for a while? Are you guys looking to upgrade? Motorhomes, trailers, fifth wheels.
I'll let her take that.
So, I was going to say,
There we go.
I love this little. I feel like Aiden and I have gotten kind of attached here because my husband's always looking at fifth wheels and travel trailers, and Aiden's like, "Well, you don't like our tiny little home? You want it bigger? I thought you liked the tiny little home." He's so funny when he says that. But we've been looking at travel trailers and fifth wheels and. Looking to upgrade at some point. I mean, we love this. It's really been nice for us, but I think we're ready for an upgrade. So definitely fifth wheel.
All right, I got to ask you both, and I'm going to start with you, Karen, because I know you get behind the wheel. What's your maximum? Because we've talked about driving a Class C. It's so convenient to just get in and go, and you unplug, boom, you're in a new town, you're at a new campground. It's so convenient. You've obviously got the right size. You have the space inside, the lounging area, the kitchen, the bedrooms. You have all your conveniences. But getting from place to place, what is your maximum driving time? I usually, in a car, am at about 4 hours. What about you, Karen, driving a Class C?
Driving? Me?
She does not drive.
Okay, let's take that out.
That's my exact same answer. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Driving me? No.
She drives from the passenger seat.
Karen, you and I, best friends.
Never driven. Never driven. I've never driven.
Okay,
And
I
I
love
probably
this
never will.
though. I love this, Sylvester, because she said, "Well, we're gonna sell the house. We're gonna get an RV, and we're gonna hit the road. Oh, by the way, you're driving."
I know.
But he likes to drive.
I love driving, yeah.
So even if I wanted to, which I probably won't, but even if I did want to, he'll probably be like, "Nah, that's okay. I'll drive." So.
But we've actually done 6 straight hours of driving and probably have an hour.
The other day, 7.5. Yeah. So.
Actually, 7. Yeah. Actually, 7.5. Yes, that's correct. We did 7.5 straight driving.
Yeah, and what's your max for you? You start to feel 6 hours, you need to take a minute and take a breather, or where are you at there?
I think 7 hours is good
Okay.
for me.
I think
And
now
if we have a certain destination to be at, I could probably take a shot of coffee and boom, and I'm ready to go.
Nice.
Yeah, now that Caleb and I have been traveling, we're in a Class C too. We're just a little bit smaller. We're in a 29-foot. But as Sean was saying, it's so nice to be able to pack up and leave real quick. And I think that also helps with the longevity of the drive because we're not so tired from packing up and all that stuff like we were in our Class A, which was a lot bigger. I would say 7 hours is our comfort spot too. It's like you're tired enough, but you still have some energy to at least like make dinner, whether if it's in a Walmart parking lot or a campsite if you're doing a long drive or not, but you're not too overtired where you can't do that 7 hour the next day. So
Yeah, and
I hear you.
Sylvester, explain to the satisfaction that you get when you pull into that campground or that, Walmart parking lot if you're taking a break overnight or wherever you pull into. Explain that satisfaction of just putting it in park and heading to the back.
Oh, God, it's like a whole breath of relief, fresh air, knowing that we've gotten to the next destination safely, and it's time to just rest, just loosen up and just relax. I mean, it's amazing, just knowing that we've gotten from point A to point B safely, which is usually the goal.
I love it. Now, you let Caleb, her husband, us the Remingtons, they're all over the place too, and I love that Caleb, you make him drive. My wife, we're getting into a Class A. She says, "You're doing all the driving, so she's good with going. She's good with setting everything up. We're all good to go. She's so excited about it, but like you, Karen, she said, you're doing all the driving."
Right.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to because I'm almost out of my first trimester of pregnancy, so it was really hard for me to get behind the wheel and not be able to have a nausea spell. So hopefully in the next couple weeks, I'll be able to help out with the driving. The Class A was a little bit too big for me. It was really intimidating. The Class C, I feel like at least feels more like driving a truck or a U-Haul or something like that. So I feel a little bit more confident in that. Karen, is that something that is that something that would interest you? Do you have the same fears as me of it being too big, the blind spots, or you just like being the coaster too?
I do. I'm not a fan of driving, and I feel like I'm not driving something this big. No, I don't think I could do it. If we had something smaller, I would probably feel comfortable driving. But this one, no, I don't think so.
She'll still make me drive the smaller one.
I love it. You could get a 15-footer and you'd be driving all the time, Sylvester, and I'm cool with that. Now, here's the thing. Before we get the time gets away from us, I want to ask you, there's a lot of folks that RVing is their first time. And Karen, when you got everything set up and you decided to do this, What are some first-time RVing tips that you could give to people that are thinking about getting that Class C? What are the must-haves for them?
Like must-haves in the Class C?
Yeah, to
like
get started, right
or...
when they get started. This is something you got to have. You got to make sure you do this, got to make sure you do this.
You want to take that one? I'm trying to think of. So when we got it, the first thing we checked for I think we mentioned gas. So to make sure to fill up I think the first time we were taking a trip, we didn't know how to turn on the gas. So we went to sleep and we were cold because we forgot to turn on the gas and that the gas runs a heater. That's something we didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to sleep that night and we were freezing. And then we woke up in the morning and realized that the gas was off the whole time.
So know everything about your RV is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes. Like the little things.
Read the manual. Owner's manual. Read the owner's manual. Look it up online.
Look it up online. Ask questions about it. And if you buy it from somebody, have them give you like a full walkthrough wherever you get it from, just so that you don't miss anything. Because there's so many little parts of little things that you may not realize that a lot of buttons that you have to turn on and turn off. And to be honest with you, even till now, there's some buttons that I'm not sure about. I'm like, what's this for? But my husband, he knows all of that stuff. So.
Yeah, so one of the main things you want to get for a brand new RV, you want to make sure you have like your water hose, you have your sewer hose. You get like your leveling jacks. Make sure those are all set. You also know where to put your gas.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Where the gas tank is.
Because I didn't know.
We've talked about it before, where it's just like you kind of just have to get in the RV, take it to a campground, and just play around with it, figure out exactly what you're saying, touch all the buttons, what does this do, what does that do? Because sometimes they're labeled, sometimes they're not. If it's an older RV, sometimes they got rubbed off and all that stuff. Caleb and I, when we got in this Class C, we were pushing buttons like we were in an airplane trying to take off, and we're like, well, what does this do and that do? So I hear you on that. And when you go to campgrounds, like we've talked about before, it's just so nice that the community there, everyone's willing to help. It took us about 4 hours to figure out where to plug in the RV. If we could turn it on without electrocuting ourselves, we had people walking by asking if we needed help. Have you had that kind of experience and that kind of camaraderie? I know when you were talking about Aiden and him being able to make friends, like, do you feel like it's the same for adults, like when they go into campsites?
I would say, honestly, the best part of RVing is the RV community. Hands down. When we lived in a house, there was no way I would let Aiden just go out and play. To be honest with you, I would never let that happen. At the RV parks, honestly, sometimes he just gets up and he's gone. And I'm like, just come back. Yeah. And sometimes he'll come back, already had lunch. I'm like, you had lunch? What? Somebody fed you? And then later on, there are a bunch of kids outside eating marshmallows. And the parents are like, oh, they already had dessert then. So it's the RV community for me. Honestly, this is the reason why after a couple of months, we decided that there's no way we're going back to a house because we feel free. We can get up. If we don't like our backyard, we can get up and change it. Aiden can get out and make friends. We also can make friends as adults. And making friends as adults is hard, honestly. It's kind of awkward. Mm-hmm. It's not like a kid where, you just talk about, oh, I like your bike. And then they're gone, For adults, I feel like it's so different. But the RV community, it's amazing. It's amazing. They are the best.
Okay, for those folks that are watching right now and just thinking about getting started, so know your RV. Practice. One of the things that we've learned over the last several weeks is when you get that RV is put it in your driveway and go out and act like you're at a campground and test everything out and try it. And then also, like you said, Karen, make sure wherever you get it, Sylvester, you mentioned this, that you have your sales executive walk you through every little nook and cranny so that you know. And then there's something that we guys, my wife does this all the time. She reads everything. She goes online. She researches stuff. I'm not that guy. I think I know it all. I don't want to read a manual. I'm not going to open that book until there's a problem. So read your manual and know all your stuff. Okay, aside from your RV now, Karen, I'm looking to you for the first part of this. What's the one must-have extra thing that you had to get to bring with you? Was it a grill? Was it the chairs? What was it to make sure that you were comfortable when you stopped the first couple of times? You're like, oh, we got to get that.
An Instant Pot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
My Instant Pot, I use it every single day, several times a day. I use it for everything. It's one of my must-have items is to have an Instant Pot. And the grill, too, my husband loves to grill. So we have a grill. We use that grill all the time since we grill every day. And then, like you mentioned, chairs too. Yes, because sometimes, because the RV is small. So you want to be able to get out and just sit out and rest. And a lot of, RV parks don't always have, chairs for you to sit on. So make sure you have your own. You can lounge. My favorite ones are the ones that you can lounge in, lay back in and put your feet up. I just sit there sometimes and just hang out.
I would also say a hammock. You would also need a hammock
yes,
because if you come out in the trees, you could just tie it out and just lay out there. It's
pretty nice.
It's a must-have.
I love it. I love to hear that stuff because you do this professionally. This is, or not professionally, but full time. Well, I guess we could say
pretty
you're
much
professionals
professionally
at
now.
it. Heck yeah. And so these are the things that we love to hear because we need to know, especially for those folks and I've been in a Class C and in toy boxes and I've done all that, but stepping up into another adventure like a Class A, I'm a little nervous, but I'm also very excited about it. I don't want to miss anything. That's what I'm afraid of.
The Instapot. Karen, that is honestly such a huge lifesaver in an RV because you are limited in counter space and all that stuff, and prepping is, you can still prep and all that stuff, but the Instapot makes everything so much easier, and the cleanup is easy, and you can cook for a family, you can host people. I love it so much. I'm a big fan of that, 1,000% yes. So that might be our gift for you in your Class A.
I'm loving life. Let's talk destinations for just a moment because you just went across the country from the West Coast, as Tiffany was saying, to Atlanta, out in Georgia now. Where are some of the best destinations that you've been so far that you said, you know what, this is where, if you're going to RV, if you're going to get out, take your family here?
For different reasons, I would say one of them I like was Louisiana. I really like Louisiana. The food, just for the food alone.
Yes.
I highly recommend it for the food. But I would say for outdoor family time, ultimately Wyoming, Montana.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Idaho. We spent 3 months out there in the summer. And all we did was lakes, hikes, outdoor stuff. I'm telling you, even for now, socially distant stuff, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So those 3 states for a lot of outdoor activities. If you're a foodie, then head to Louisiana.
I knew I should have hit you up when we were passing through Louisiana. I know it was only for a day, but we were looking for the good food spots, and we had no idea where to go. You'll have to still get.
Yeah, you have to stop there. There's no way. Especially New Orleans. The food, you can't eat a bad meal.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't. Kix Brooks, who's from Brooks and Dunn, is a dear friend of mine. He's from Louisiana, and we go back and play a lot of golf there. And the one thing he is so excited about, and he's not from the big city area. He's from the back small areas, small towns. We hit these places where I'm like, we're stopping here. Are you sure? And we go in there. It's the best Cajun. It's the best spices. It's the best. How do you even describe Louisiana food, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the crab boils, the beignets. We missed out. We really did. But maybe when we take off for our next destination, we'll go back towards Louisiana and go north. That would be fun. And then I'm going to hit you up, Karen, for all of the spots. And Sylvester, I know that you have some. I know you have some spots up your sleeves as well.
For me, because I really like barbecue, so I would say Kentucky. Kansas was one of my favorite places too. They have one of the best barbecue.
Kansas is one of our stops.
Yeah, there's so many great places. That's a great thing about being out on the road, just like you guys do and have done for the last year. You've done such a good job letting us live vicariously through you. And how can people get a hold of you? How can they follow you?
On Instagram, you can find me at the Momtrotter on basically every social media network: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Yeah, and TikTok too. All of the Momtrotter.
I'll tell you what, Momtrotter, we love you, and we're not going to let you get too far from us because coming up, we're going to take a look at this amazing RV. We like to call it the partner pick, and we're going to let you guys talk all about it. So don't go anywhere as the Ultimate RV Show National Tour continues.
From sunup to sundown, we are designing your next big adventure, building your family vacation, delivering your memories that will last a lifetime. We know it's more than just an RV, which is why we are working around the clock to bring over 80,000 RVs fresh from the factory to our stores, to your driveway or campsite. Built by Americans for Americans and starting at less than $5 per day. Click, call, or visit your local Camping World today.